Question 3. A shop sells freezers and cookers. The ratio of the number of freezers sold to the number of cookers is 5 to 2. The shop sells a total of 140 freezers and cookers in 1 week. Part A says work out the number of freezers and the number of cookers sold that week. Okay, so let me just get that in my head. So 5 to 2, they're selling freezers and cookers in a ratio 5 to 2. So I'm just going to write that again actually. So 5 to 2. Now it's in that order, so it says freezers and then cookers. So every 5 freezers they sold, they only sold 2 cookers. So they sell a lot more freezers than cookers, well, in this week anyway, okay? So the shop sells a total of 140. Now you don't know how many freezers and how many cookers, that's what you've got to work out. It says work out number of freezers and number of cookers sold that week, okay? So if the ratio is 5 to 2, there are 7 equal parts. So we want to find 1 part. So if I divide this by 7, that will give me 1 part. So 1 part is 20 items. Okay, this is 1 part. Now, if that's 1 part then, 2 parts are cookers and 5 parts are freezers. So let's do freezers first. Equals 20 times 5. So they sold 100 freezers. And how about cookers? Cookers, it's 20 times how many parts? 2 for cookers. So they sold 40 cookers. Okay, so these two should add up to the total number of items, which it does, 140. So we've done that correctly. Okay, now part A is worth 3 marks. Let's have a quick look at how you get those marks. So the first one is a method mark, okay, for finding 1 part and then timesing the 1 part by the number of, well, the parts of freezers, in this case 5, and 2 parts are cookers, okay. So that's the first method mark. The second mark comes from seeing 100 and the 40. And the third mark comes from linking the 100 to the freezers and the 40 to the cookers, which you can see I've done here, okay. If you've just got a whole load of calculations all over the page when they can't see that this here, the 100's for the freezers and the 40 is for actually the cookers, you don't get that final mark. Okay, so Jake buys this freezer in a sale. The price of the freezer is reduced by 20%. Part B says work out how much Jake has saves. How much Jake saves, okay? Not how much he pays, it's how much he saves. So you have to be very, very careful with that. So the original price is £145. Now, original price is before deduction, before the money comes off it, before the discount. Okay, so the price of the freezer is reduced by 20%. So he's going to save 20%. So you're going to have to find 20% of £145. So I'm just going to times it by 20%. Okay. So 10% is £14.50. So 20% is exactly £29. So I can write that on the answer line, £29, and it's worth 2 marks. Now you can use the percentage button as a calculator paper, or you can use a multiplier. So 145 times, if you want 20%, that's 0.2. That will also get you 20%. Okay, or if you're more happy with dividing it by 100, then timesing it by 20 to get 20%, that's absolutely fine as well. Whichever way you do it is fine. Okay, so part B is worth 2 marks. Let's have a quick look how you get those marks. So the first one is a method mark. Any method you choose to find, well, that you can do to find 20% of the original price is absolutely fine. Okay, and the second mark comes from the final answer of £29, and that's it.